Yeah, and like they're not gonna like what sucks about it is they're not really gonna even realize that it's basically indentured servitude. They're just gonna
Yeah.
figure, well, it's just the it's just the way things are now. It's gonna be normalized having
Hmm.
to basically be in debt just to pay for almost everything from your phone to
Yep.
basically the fucking loan you took out to buy groceries.
Right. Loan you took out to buy
Mhm.
groceries, right? It's not even just a loan for a vehicle anymore. It's a
Mhm.
loan on everything. You will own nothing and be happy. That is the epitome of it.
Mhm. Pretty much, yeah. How
Yeah.
can you own something if you're if you're always constantly having to in debt to it, having trying to pay it off? Like,
Right. No, I feel like that was why Squid Games resonated with so many people, honestly, is that this idea, while it is science fiction at this point, it sure feels like we're somewhere along that path, with
mhm.
how things are getting for the average person trying to survive now.
I'm surprised that hasn't become real life. I'm surprised some rich dude hasn't like, oh, are you in debt? Well, why don't you come compete for it? Why don't you come compete for some money to pay off your debt?
Right. I mean,
You just
Hunger
have to
Games. So may the forces be forever in your favor. Is that what it
mhm,
was?
yeah, believe
May
so.
the odds be forever in your favor,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah. May the odds forever be in your favor. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
There's the new middle class in the Hunger Games.
Oh my gosh. Like I'm surprised. Like
Oh,
I'm legit surprised we haven't gotten that dystopian yet. Because I mean,
yeah.
because I feel like this, it's kind of that kind of thing has been looming for a while. And I'm
Right.
surprised like we haven't got to a point where governments want to stop like young people from you know becoming revolutionaries by forcing them into battle royales with each other and fucking on some island where they have explosive collars around their neck, like in battle royale.
Yeah, no, that
And
that sound about it. Honestly, this is why
yeah,
all these movies resonate. Like I said, I feel like the chains of debt, I think are we're all very aware of what we're in this, and if you think about that, like, and how that ties just how not being able to pull yourself out of it, just to tie back to today's Fed meeting again, if the unemployment rate right now is being reported as 3.7%, which is laughable,
mm-hmm.
incredibly laughable at this point. But if Jerome Powell is saying that we basically need to double this unemployment rate to keep, because there's so many available jobs
Yeah.
in hindsight, you
What's
know,
the what's the U6 rate? U6 unemployment rate? Because there's multiple levels. I think
right.
the main one that's reported is I think is like the U3 or U4, which
So okay,
is
7%. Okay, so the U6 is reporting 7% right now, which
okay.
even 7%
I still
feels
feel that's
like
kind of low.
very low. I would say the average person who, if you ask someone in the middle class, I would say most people say probably 20% at
Mm-hmm.
least. At least with how bad things are nowadays, with how much struggle everyone's in. I know Shadow Stats would have a number on that. Let me see. Do you have that one by chance, Stephen?
What was that? Sorry, I was looking
Do
at
you remember
the. What was
the
that?
unemployment rate here? Yeah, no, I was saying, because I know Shadow Stats will sometimes give you an unemployment rate that reflects not just, because I know that this U6 unemployment rate only counts people who have been out of work for the past 2 years, and if you're beyond that, then you're no longer counted,
Mm-hmm.
which is the most insane thing to me. That's just your count is giving up. It's like, no, that's still a human being that is out of work and unable to, now they're homeless. Like, like, does that mean they just go into a different metric for you? It's,
Mm-hmm.
they still count as unemployed.
Sure. Mind if I share my screen
Oh,
real quick?
absolutely. Let me go ahead and give that back to you here.
All right. So he okay. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see with
Right.
shadow
Yeah. Shadow
stats,
stats. Yeah.
it is 25%, which I
20.
feel
Yeah.
is
Exactly.
seems a bit more realistic actually.
Absolutely. I would say, yeah, a quarter of all people who are adults in our society right now being unemployed, or at least underemployed, at best, sounds
Mm-hmm.
absolutely accurate. Absolutely.
Gosh, we never went back down to freaking pre 2020 levels, dude. That's how back
Mm-hmm.
to
We are not, and you can tell, like you can see that slant there in that chart. It's stable. It's not going lower, like we're not, if anything, I expect to see that start to U
yeah,
shape up a
starting to
little
consolidate
more,
a bit. It's gonna wow. Yeah, it
you
probably
know.
will spike up. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, that's yeah. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. And think of really, and that right there, if you want to talk about the main thing that would be a nail in the coffin to the middle class in this country, employment, just making a weekly wage to be check to check, which is what the majority of people in this country are now. They're check to check. They're not really saving. They're just keeping up with the bills. And if you don't have that anymore, if you no longer can maintain that, then you're literally talking object poverty. That is really the transition of anyone who is middle class and at least treading water is now fully drowning in this economic situation.
You lucky to be house poor.
Lucky to be house poor.
You'd be lucky to be house
Absolutely.
poor at this point. It's, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. That really is it now. That really is where the average person is at. It's just, it makes people become creative. I feel like while there's going to be, like Powell said, a lot of pain that we're going to experience in the housing markets, in the equity markets, in the employment markets, on the other side of this, hopefully we all figure out how to build something better than this. Now, what I worry about is bureaucracy being the thing that prevents that for people, because I feel like bureaucracy is essentially what's put us this bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel like a bureaucracy is going to bring us a solution here.
No, they're just going to keep making things worse.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's because they're just blatantly doing it, trying to make things worse, or they're just so stupid and
Out of touch.
That they don't know what's going on. Like, that they think they're actually doing good and helping people. Like, oh my gosh, like with this current, like I hate, because I hate to always sound like a Biden hater, but like that the main thing that really irks me about this is like the way they're so blatant with
just lying. Mm-hmm. And I understand here at Middle Class Macro, we endorse no party or candidate. As far as we're concerned, no one's working for the people right now. Both Steve and I have a pretty good track record of not being a fan of pretty much anyone that's been around since we've been alive, at least. And but this administration in particular, the lying through your teeth about this feels condescending almost when we're suffering like
it's
this.
Insulting.
It is. It generally is insulting to the average person.
Mm-hmm. Like when they celebrated the
Inflation
Reduction Act. Like,
a party
4 weeks ago, and that was the day the CPI came out, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're celebrating their asses off, thinking they're doing a great thing, and CPI, the inflation is still going out of control. They're just losing their jobs. People are completely out of touch. Quitting their jobs.
Yeah, the quiet quitting is happening because it's like, if I'm not going to make enough to keep afloat at this job and I'm falling apart, why am I somewhere where I'm miserable?
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying, like, we're at a point now where people were willing to be miserable because at least they got to maintain their lifestyle. But if you're not going to even give them that, it's like, what am I here for then? That's where the average person I would say is at this point.